It's 7:25. This is just one heck of a story, a wonderful story. The recovery of conjoined twin brothers has been described as remarkable by medics after they really made history, undergoing what was believed to be the world's most complex ever separation surgery.
Arthur and Bernardo Lima were separated by a team of 100 specialists. And we're going to be speaking to one of the key surgeons shortly. But first, Fran Lee Nuri has a look at their journey so far.
Arthur Lima is learning to ride his bike like any other 5-year-old. But he and his brother's journey to this point has been very different to every other child's. Arthur and Bernardo were born in Rio with fused skulls and intertwined brains, even sharing the most vital of veins. Many experts believe separating the two was impossible. But 18 months ago, surgical teams from Britain and Brazil embarked on one of the most complex series of operations ever. Across 9 surgeries, the twins' brains and veins were separated, and a piece of plastic placed between them. Saline bags were used to stretch the skin, then the top of each twin's head was reconstructed with bone and the stretched skin. The pair came face to face for the first time in June last year, and their recovery since has been remarkable. Arthur is managing a few steps, and now they're both starting to say a few words, feed themselves, and lead lives many thought was impossible.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Neurosurgeon Professor Owase Jeelani is with us now. A very good morning to you.
Good morning. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Absolutely. I mean, you are... I don't know how many other surgeons there must be in the world who have ever done what you've done.
A few. There are a few.
There are a few,
yeah.
But you can count them on one hand, presumably,
yes.
Yeah. How does it feel? How many months ago was it now that this was complete? Because how does it feel now to know, you know, as you heard there in our report, that there would be a few steps being taken, a few words being spoken?
So we undertook the separation last year, so about 16 months ago, and it's really heartwarming to see the progress that they're making. But one of the challenges was that these kids were referred to us quite late, and they had had 7 attempts at separation before we were called in. So whilst they're making good progress, and it's really good to see that, we know that they will have long-term deficits and long-term challenges that we're going to support them with.
Were they about 3 years
Almost
old?
4.
Almost four.
Yeah. They were the oldest pair that we've done. And when we look at our series of 7 separations now, what's evidently clear is that the ones you undertake under age 1, where the separation's completed in the first year, those kids, they're functioning as normal children. Regular school, walking, talking, like any other child. But when there's a delay in either the referral or the separation process, that's when we have problems.
I have to say, looking at the pictures of them prior to the operation, when you first saw them, when you first saw even pictures and videos of them, you must have thought, no, this is going to be impossible. I mean, the level of the conjoin was so extensive. How long did you have to think about it before deciding that it was worth a try?
Yeah, a few months. So we had about 6 months between us and the Brazilian teams working out the logistics of how we would do it. But one of the confounding things was they had attempted 7 separations already. So there was a number of artificial tissue materials inside the children's heads. So it was almost the decision had been made, and we were asked to come and salvage.
They'd embarked on the process and you couldn't go back.
Exactly right.
And am I right in saying that prior to the operation, you rehearsed, you were so meticulous, you rehearsed the whole thing using AI, basically, in virtual reality?
Correct.
You did the operation in virtual reality?
It was the first time ever that we had done something like this in virtual reality across 2 continents. And that really helped us think about the whole surgical process, the steps that we would take, and made the actual surgery that little bit easier.
What was the most dangerous aspect of it? I mean, if things had gone wrong?
We would have lost one or both children on the table. And that's traditionally, typically, when you look at the past sort of 70 years, most of these kids did not survive the separation process. We're now in a phase where we can do these surgeries, but what's absolutely key is that we get to these kids and do the separations early on.
Can I just ask you, how does that make a surgeon feel when they're operating on a little child who then dies on the table? It must be the worst moment of your career.
It's exceedingly difficult, absolutely right. So we undertook another separation in Brazil this year, where one of the kids was expected to die because they were born with quite a weak heart and non-functioning kidneys. So we were expecting that to happen, but when it did happen, it does hit you very hard and it takes you...
Yeah.
And you're based at Great Ormond Street Hospital.
I am,
and this isn't the day job, yeah.
No, I'm a full-time NHS surgeon.
You work mostly on...
I do brain tumours and craniofacial reconstructions.
In children?
That's right,
Yeah,
yeah.
At Great Ormond Street. When did you decide to embark upon conjoined twins because this is a separate thing that you do and you have to raise money for it, don't you?
That's absolutely right. So the charity that we set up, Gemini Untwined, we set it up 5 years ago to help one set of kids. What was obvious was there was a global need, and since then we've had these referrals from all over the place, and we've done 5 sets of separations since 2018 in Israel, in Brazil, and we've just been referred another 3 sets that we would really like to try and help. The difficulty is that whilst the doctors and the nurses, we give our time for free, the hospital bills do need to be paid for these kids, and we rely completely on public donations to support us with that work. Now, here's the difficulty. If we get to these kids early enough, and the kids that have been referred are within the first few months of life, then we know the outcome is going to be really good. But if there's a delay in the fundraising...
Why is the delay so critical?
It's to do with the regeneration of the brain. Right. Within the first year of life, the kids regenerate at an exponential rate. But the older they are, the regeneration potential goes down. So for us, it's quite time critical that we raise the money now, start the separation process in the next few months to give these kids the best possible chance.
And apart from the risk to actual life and survival, there's presumably a substantial risk of causing brain damage.
Precisely. Yeah. That's precisely it. So if we do it under age 1, that risk is much lower. If we do the separation over age 1, that risk is higher.
How much does it cost?
Oh, quite variable, but here in the UK it can be up to £1 million, and that's primarily the hospital bill that we need to pay.
And the thing is, of course, is... Go on.
The point is, I mean, you know, people often say that these kids are from many different parts of the world, and are they truly our responsibility? My thinking, and, you know, I'm sure all of us agree, are, you know, there's a collective responsibility towards these children. And whilst they may not be in the UK, but... you know, in the spirit of Christmas, do unto others as you'd like to be done unto you. You know, we do share this responsibility where if we have the skill and the knowledge to help children, be that anywhere in the world, we really have to take ownership and say, OK, kids, all children, anywhere in the world, are equally precious, and we need to think and manage them in those terms.
And I also think, you know, when we talk about medical advances, they come from these very difficult moments that are rare. The thing you talk about using AI and using virtual reality to figure this out. I mean, we've seen lovely Olivia, who's got a brain tumour and is blind, and sang for the King. I am pretty sure that those medical advances, the knowledge that you are gaining each time you do something incredibly rare and incredibly difficult, filters down to your day job.
Absolutely.
You know, so it affects. It could happen. It could happen to any of our children. You might not have conjoined twins because is it 1 in 60,000 births or something?
Conjoined, for our craniopagus, 1 in 2.5 million. But Ranveer, you're absolutely right. These surgeries, the learning from these surgeries do trickle down to our everyday regular brain surgeries that we do. So there's that aspect of it, that it really furthers medical science. But the other element of this collective responsibility of thinking of us as a global community where every child is equally precious and we care for everyone, I think that kind of thinking we need to see more of.
We must talk a little bit about you. You've had such an interesting journey in your life. You came to this country from Kashmir when you were just 15. There was a lot of unrest there, and you managed to come and stay with an aunt. Was it in Batley?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
In Yorkshire. And you just threw yourself into studies. Yeah. And you were determined to work in medicine, weren't you? That had always been an ambition.
Pretty much, yeah.
When did you qualify?
In 1997, so 25 years ago, 26 years ago, yeah.
Being a doctor, I mean, in our family, we've got one doctor, and I dine out on that. It's for an Indian family to have a doctor in the family. It is the be-all and end-all, and I'm a complete failure in the eyes of my family for not being a doctor. But your family, your Kashmiri, you were in the Indian part of Kashmir. Your family, tell us about the medical sort of prowess of the Jeelanis.
There are lots of doctors in my family. I'm one of many, that's for sure.
How many? Go on.
A lot.
Oh, go on, tell us.
39.
39
you are
doctors.
joking.
You are greedy.
You've got one.
It's a large family. It's a large family.
It's amazing.
I go back to, you know, being doctor and being a human, really, what is our role? What is it that we need to be focusing on? And for me, it is fundamentally that we need to think of the global community. All humanity is one. All children are equally precious.
Indeed.
And the sooner we get to that point, the sooner people, particularly people in positions of power, think of all children being equally precious, we will be in a very different phase.
Is this partly an oblique reference to Gaza?
It's an oblique reference to pretty much what's happening in the world, absolutely. Yeah. You know, what's happening on either side. I have patients on both sides of the equation, in Israel and Gaza. I've worked with doctors in Israel and Gaza. There are beautiful children, beautiful professionals on both sides, and we're all one family. But the minute we start to other, you know, us and them, and their children not being as precious as ours, that's where the fundamental fault lies. We're all one.
Yeah.
All children are equally precious.
And I think you think of, you know, a little teenager from Kashmir at age 14, 15 coming over. Now you're a world leader and you're at Great Ormond Street Hospital and you take to the world stage in the name of the UK. So we are very grateful for what you do.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's truly an honour to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to help, but we need to see more of this. We need to see a lot more of
You're
it.
an extraordinary man. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
and
you
giving us
so
your time
much.
so early in
And
the day.
good luck with raising money to help the other two conjoined twin families that have come forward.
GeminiUntwined.org. We work completely on public donations, so please visit our website and be part of the charity, be part of the mission.
Well said.
Thank you.
OK, let's take a look at the weather. There's a storm around the corner, Ruth.
Yeah, very much so.
A bright outlook. Box Solar.